Good morning. Hi, everybody. I am up making or getting my prep ready for my lunch for later. I'm going to be making a chicken Mexi bowl with some black beans and some rice. And I'm going to do a fresh Pico de Gallo to go with that. So I wanted to show you what I'm doing to make that fresh Pico de Gallo. And I already got my beans on. I will put a link to how I'm preparing my beans or how I've already gotten started with my beans. But what I will do is show you right now that they are currently in the crock pot. And let me just kind of show you what they are looking like right now. Those will be cooking for a few hours. So in the meantime, I am going to be preparing my fresh Pico de Gallo. I'm going to show you what I'm doing really quickly here. It's not going to take long. But I want to tell you a quick little thing. I went to the Mexican market last night. There's one actually right up the street from me. And I went in and I picked up green onion. And I picked up cilantro. I picked up a tomato. And this pepper. And the lady at the counter, when I put everything on the counter, she said, "You making fresh pico?" I said, "Yes, I am making fresh pico." So I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do to make that Pico de Gallo up really quickly. You already saw a couple of the ingredients: the pepper, the onion, the cilantro, the tomato. I also have some minced garlic. I've got lemon, lime. I've got some red onion. And I'm also going to add some cilantro and lime adobo. So I'm going to get that started here. So I'm going to turn that so that you can see how I chop everything up. And I'm going to be putting that in here because I can always use that later on to put on other things. So here we go. I'm going to be doing some chopping. And as I'm chopping, I'm just going to be putting those things in here. So I've already rinsed off my green onion, and I'm just going to kind of peel that back a little bit here. I'm only going to use one of these. Actually, I'm going to use both of them. I got two. One of them went into my black beans, so I'm going to use like 1.5 because I think I want to use a little bit fresh later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be chopping up my green onion here. So I'm just going to take the bottom off of that. And for the kind of thick part here, I'm going to kind of section that off, and I'm going to get to chopping that into small pieces here. And then I'll take the rest of that and chop that down. And I like to chop this as small as possible because it's going to be like, if you've ever had Pico de Gallo, if you like Pico de Gallo, you'll know that it's all kind of chopped down pretty fine. But not too fine where you can't kind of bite into it and get a nice amount of what you're eating on each bite. So I'm just chopping that green onion down. As you can see here, I hope you can see. All right, and here is my green onion. Hey, cousin. How you doing? So I am going to put that here in my bowl. So here is all my green onion. I'm going to put that in my container. Forgive my mess here. So that is my green onion. I also like a little bit of red onion in my pico. So I do have a piece of red onion that I'm going to be adding onto that as well. So I'm just going to peel the skin off of that red onion. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. And I'm going to cut that here into little slices, and then I'm going to kind of cut right in the middle because I'm going to make these a little smaller. And so this will give me a nice little size on my red onion, as you can see how that looks there. Just chop that down. And I'm gonna flip that around and get the chopping. Be careful with your knife when you're chopping, of course. And here is my red onion all chopped up and ready to go into my container. So I'm gonna get that in there now. And again, forgive the mess, but here we go. I am so excited to have a little Mexican market right up the street from me. So when I went in there last night, they had all of the good stuff in there. So I will be visiting there often because I love Mexican food. So I will be back in there again. All right. And now that I have my onions in there, so both sets of onions, I'm now going to chop my tomato. And I'm just going to cut that in half. And I'm going to take the little part out of there that grows from the tree. So just a little bit of that out of there. And as you can see, right where it grows out, I'm just going to cut that into like a little triangle shape. And I'll pull that right out. As you can see, it just comes right out. So there we go. And then I'm going to do the tomato kind of the same way I did the onion, so I can get that same kind of size on that one. So I'm going to slice it down, and then I'm going to cut it in the middle. There you go. And then I'll start to slicing my tomato up into those little pieces like I want. It's going everywhere. I need my larger board, but it's okay. The counter is clean. So here is my tomato chopped up nice. And I'm going to do that other piece as well. But before I do that, I'm going to just kind of drop some of that into my container. And this is, again, I'm making fresh Pico De Gallo. I am going to be making a Mexi bowl later on. I've got my black beans already in my crock pot. So I'm excited about those. And here's my tomato. Get that sliced up again here. And then I'm going to just kind of rough chop that. Go. Watching my fingers, of course. And here is my tomato. So I'm going to plop that in there. Got all my good tomato. And I'm plopping it everywhere, y'all. Just forgive me. Okay, so now we have our tomato. We have our onion in there. And now I'm going to add in my garlic. So I have minced garlic already minced. Now you can feel free to buy it on your whole and then mince it yourself. I'm just going to take to get in touch with me when I'm doing something. So far this is what this is looking like, and you'll see it's kind of looking like a little salad, a layer salad, but I'm going to mix that all up together. So I got my garlic in there. I'm going to put just a little bit more garlic, so maybe a tablespoon and a half of garlic, and I'm measuring that by eye. Of course, feel free to put as much or as little garlic in there as you like. I like a little more garlic in mine, so feel free to do that how you like to. And now I have my pepper, and feel free to use the type of pepper that you like. I don't want it to be too spicy, so I'm just going to use like a little small jalapeno. I'm going to slice that down the middle, and then I'm going to take out the core of that where the seeds are. And so if you slice it right down the middle, that seed core should just come right out. And I'm going to pull it right out with my thumb just to get those seeds out of there, because the seeds is where the hot is. I don't know if you guys know that, but if you leave that seed in there, it's going to be super hot. I will leave a little bit in there, just a little. But I'm just going to kind of clean out my pepper. Good morning, cousin. And I'm just slicing my pepper down, same as I did. And I'm trying to make the pieces kind of the same, but I'm going to chop this pepper down a little bit more just so I can get bites of that pepper down in each part of the pico. And here we go. I'm just kind of chopping that up here. You'll see people do this. It's so funny, but if you let your knife do the work, it'll be easier. So here is my pepper, chopped all up. And I'm going to take that pepper and put that right down here in the rest of my fresh ingredients. And then last but not least, for the chopping, I'm going to take, I already washed off my cilantro, and I am going to just dry that a little bit. Now, I don't use the stems, so I'm just going to take the stems off, and I will use those later when I make usually when I make a stew or soups or anything like that, I will use the stems. I'm going to use a few. So I'm just kind of chopping those into small little pieces. And I love fresh cilantro. I'm just kind of chopping that down here. As you can see, of course, again, be careful with your knife. Nice sharp knife you want to chop everything down. And once I get my cilantro, everybody doesn't like cilantro. If you like parsley instead of cilantro, feel free, but it will change the flavor of your pico. And I'm just kind of chopping that up here, making it as fine, but not like a paste, because I want it to be a little crunch to everything. All right, and here is my fresh cilantro. There we go, and I'm gonna put that down into my container as well. Right. Now that I have all of my fresh ingredients in there, now I will start to add my juice. And so this is going to be, I'm going to be adding half a juice of a lemon, and I'm going to be adding the whole let me get my mouth together here. I'm going to be adding the juice from a whole lime and the juice of half a lemon. So I'm just kind of wiping down here. So I'm going to reuse this. All right, guys, here we go. And here's my lime. I'm going to roll that so I can get the juice to kind of come up to the top. I already rinsed this off. And I am going to slice this right down the middle, kind of exposing that lime on the inside. And I'm going to squeeze that lime down into my container. Now, I may do 2 of these limes, actually, because I don't know what it is about the limes. They have been really dry this year, so I may squeeze 2 limes in here. So I'm just getting my juice down in here. And then I'm also going to take, like I said, the half a lemon, and I'm going to open that up a little bit and kind of expose that. And I'm going to squeeze that lemon juice down in my ingredients as well. And here is my lemon juice. Squeezing that down in there. I do see one little seed that kind of popped in there, so I'm going to take that seed out. But if you squeeze into your hand, the seed will fall into your fingers, and then you can kind of remove the seeds as you go. So I'm just kind of squeezing that in. All right. That juice is gathering right at the bottom. And again, I think I am going to add 1 more lime to this one, because like I said, the limes are a little weird this year. So I'm going to rinse that off, and I'm going to roll that lime. That kind of gets the juice to coming up when you roll your lemons and your limes. Open that up here and expose that juice. Make it easier to kind of squeeze the juice out. And I'm going to get my lime down in here. There we go. See the juice coming out of there? Yep. Right. And here is that. And then once I get all of that in there, I'll season it up just a little with a little salt and pepper. And I'm going to use my cilantro and lime adobo. And then I'm going to shake this up, because that's why I wanted to put it in this container, because it's going to be easier to stir. All right. Okay. So here's what we got. As you can see, that little juice is gathering at the bottom. Doesn't that look good though already? If you like fresh Pico De Gallo, you can put this pretty much on anything. I put it on burgers. I put it on, just have some chips with that. I'm just going to put a little sprinkle of that in here. And I have some black pepper. Sprinkle some black pepper down in here. About a teaspoon of black pepper. And just a little salt, because that'll bring the flavors out. So just like a half a teaspoon of salt. And then I have a container top here. I'm going to add that top. This is the easiest way to do that. Instead of trying to stir everything up, just kind of shake it. Look at that. Ooh-wee. Now, feel free to add, you can make this into a nice salsa. You can add avocado. I don't eat avocado because it gives me kind of really bad heartburn, so I don't eat that. But feel free to add just some avocado, and that'll make this into a nice chunky guacamole, which I really love, but it doesn't love me. So I'm not going to do that today, but I'll show you how to do that later on. My mother loves it, so I will make some next time. But as you can see, I've got fresh Pico De Gallo. Me too, Gigi. So let's give it a taste. So I'm going to open that up and kind of just show you what it's looking like on the inside of that container. Everything all mixed together. So I'm going to taste it and make sure that it's seasoned enough for me. Because again, this is going to go on my Mexi bowl later on. All right, let's give it a little taste here. Oh, try that next time. I do have some cucumber, and I may put that on my bowl just to see how that tastes, how that changes the taste. Thank you for that suggestion. All right. Here is my fresh Pico De Gallo. And this is again for my Mexi bowl for later. I already have, let me show you my black beans that are cooking here in the crock pot. I've got some peppers in there, some onion. I've got some bacon. My black beans. I do have some cilantro in there. So I'm garlic, of course. I'm cooking that up because I'm going to add that. That's a good idea. So I am going to do that later on. Maybe I'll put that on my, like I said, on my bowl. Okay. So that's it. When I get ready to put my bowl together, I'm going to have some rice in there, some black beans. I'm going to have some chicken. I'll show you how I cook my chicken later and what I do to put my chicken together. And then I'm going to create my bowl, and you'll see that when it's time for lunch. So that's it. That was my fresh pico. I will link my black bean video on because I did shoot a video for that. I am going to put that on my YouTube page. So feel free to go on there and take a look at some of the other recipes that I'm going to be putting together this year. So it's on and popping for the recipes this year, you guys. I'm trying to get it, trying to create this recipe book. So we'll see what happens as time goes by. Asking God to walk me through. All right. Thank you for joining me. You'll see me back later. Talk to you soon. Bye.